Okay, good morning to all. So let's start. Uh, Let me. Okay, so is my screen visible? Roll number 23.
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's start. Yesterday we started the first chapter of our subject data structure, and in that we started this topic data management, and we discussed about it yesterday. What data management means, what is the significance of data management, and uh, uh, how we can manage the data effectively. And I gave you example of simple example of uh, uh, storing data from floppy disk to uh, USB hard disk. And we also seen the data management is a very important concept in our life as well as in the technological field. And as data management has many domains, and data management is managed by many concepts. So first concept is the data type, right? This we discussed primitive and non-primitive, then linear and non-linear data structure, then third is performance analysis, and fourth is the memory measurement. So these are the four important concepts through which data are managed. So yesterday we have gone through this, the primitive data types and non-primitive data types. In primitive data types, as we discussed, integer, float, character, pointer, this single value, this data types represents the single value. They are also called the built-in data types, and these are called the basic data structure that store one value. So when we say about data structure, so that means how data will be stored in the computer. So that is called the data structure. And what will be the structure of data, right? How it will be stored. Then non-primitive data types, for that array, list, file, tree, all these are the non-primitive data types, and they are derived from the primitive data structures. And they are also structuring of group of homogeneous or heterogeneous data items. See, this is need to be understood. So they are structuring of group of homogeneous data items means all the data items having the same data type. For example, array is a homogeneous non-primitive data type, right? While list, file, tree, right, can be heterogeneous non-primitive data type. So in array, you suppose you take the integer array, in that you can store integers only, but in a file you can store any number of data types, means different number of data types you can store. So and again it depends how you this list, file and tree also have the versions, also have the uh, structures where only one type of data types items can be stored, but this list, file, tree can be used by both, right? In that you can store heterogeneous also or homogeneous also. For example, if you say a list, you have implemented list in such a way that only integers are stored in it, so that list we can say it's a homogeneous non-primitive data type. And if your list is allowing all data types, all primitive data types, then we will call it heterogeneous non-primitive data type. So next is the linear data structure versus non-linear data structure. So have you heard the name of stack and queue? Hello?
No, sir.
Linear data structures, as I told you, and means all data items in this linear data structures are ordered one by one, right? While in the non-linear data structures like tree and graph, right, the data items, yes, any question? So in non-linear data structure like tree and graph, data items are not stored sequentially, while in linear data structure data items are stored sequentially. So in the stack, if you say text in the stack, one data item after second data item would be the always the same, but in the tree you will have a branches, tree and graph, where after one data item there may be multiple data items. You depends on the path you selected, you will have a next data element. Then elements are stored linearly in the linear data structure, and elements are not stored linearly in the non-linear data structure. And both have the same this static and dynamic memory allocation, both supports that, and both have operations like traversal, insertion, deletion, searching, sorting, merging, right? So you can traverse, in that you can insert element, you can delete element, you can search particular element, you can do the sorting of the elements, and you can also merge two stacks, two queues, two tree, two graph, tree and graph, stack and queue. These merging operations you can do. So later on we will see in detail what stack is and what operations we can do on the stack, and then we will study queue also. So this is the what we say diagram for data types, right? In the data structure, the data types are broadly categorized into, right, primitive and non-primitive data structures. And in primitive we have four basic data types: integer, float, character, and pointers. While in non-primitive data structure we have array, list, and files. Again in list we have linear list and non-linear list, and linear list have the stack and queue, while non-linear list has a graph and tree, right? So this is the nice diagram which depicts all the data types. Okay. Then performance analysis and measurement. This is a very important aspect of data structure. So first of all, algorithm, time and space analysis. So this time analysis is very important concept in the data structure. Look, the same algorithm, the algorithm for the same task can be different. For the same task, you can have multiple algorithms. So these multiple algorithms perform differently. So say you want to sort the data. So sorting of data, for sorting, so many algorithms are available, and every algorithm takes different amount of time for the same data. So it is called the time complexity. So this time analysis depicts the timing requirements of the algorithm. So when I say, suppose algorithm is a, we can say it's a medium through which we want the input to be converted into the output. In the algorithm, you will input something and you will get output from it. Now this medium algorithm, right, how much time does it take, that decides the time complexity of that algorithm. For example, if you want to travel from one place to another place, now what is the medium you have, right? You are going by air, by road, or by the bicycle, or by car. So what medium you are using, that decides the time complexity. Okay. Then next comes the space analysis. So for the space analysis, how much memory will be occupied by that algorithm, right? That is the space analysis. So in the older times, space analysis was important because you also might have seen the RAMs. You also might be knowing that the RAMs were uh, very less in computers. So this random access memory, the size of RAM was very less in the previous times. So during that, space analysis was very important, right? So the algorithm with less space requirement was an important algorithm. But nowadays the memory constraints are not there, and we can use the algorithm. We now, our main focus is on the timing requirements. So space is not an issue, but then also, for the sake of knowledge, the space analysis depicts the space requirements. So now in this analysis, we have three analyses. One is the average, best, and worst. These are the three case analysis in both time complexity and space complexity, right? Or in other words, time analysis and space analysis, or you can also say timing requirements and space requirements. All these are all have these three analyses. For example, when I say average analysis, what does it what do you mean by average analysis? Let's take the same example. Suppose you want to go from place A to place B. Now what medium you are using? Suppose you are using a bicycle. Now by bicycle, you are going from A to B. So uh, suppose you 10 times you go from A to B, and you uh, sum up the time and divide it by 10, and you will have a average time. So average time from reaching from A to B is this much. Now suppose what is the best time? So best time is the minimum time which you by which you reach from point A to point B. And worst case, where the maximum time was taken, right? It may be due to traffic, it may be due to rain, or some atmosphere problem. So depends on that, you will define that this is the worst case time, This is the best case time and this is the average time. So in algorithms also, suppose I want to I give you data. For example, say the data of 100 numbers, 100 integers I give you, and now all integers I put in sequence 1 to 100, and I give you and I tell you that this is the 100 numbers. Now you arrange in order. How much time it would take? Right, because if they are already, you will just look at it 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 100. You will within a seconds you will be able to say, yeah, it is already sorted. So this list is the input is the output is same as input. Now this is the best case. Now what is the worst case? The worst case, I give you the data which are not sorted at all. They are randomly in random in order. So what you will do, you will have to search one, then you have to put one, then two, then and so on. In that way you have to arrange. Or say still I give you one more interesting example. Suppose I give you the 100 students ages, and I tell you sort these ages in the ascending order. Now what is the best case? All the ages are already in the sorted order, or in some part of the data is sorted, some part is not sorted. So for that it can be considered a best case. For worst case, highly random. When you take a age in this 100 numbers, no second age is out of order. So this is the worst case. And now average case means, suppose I give you the same 100 students ages multiple times with different order, and then you find out the average. But now it is very difficult to find the average time. It is not possible for every algorithm, but best and worst case time you can always say. But for average, some algorithms, for some algorithms we may not find the average, because in the computer field, the sometimes algorithms are not only dependent on data. Okay, many other factors are also affected. So this is about the average, best and worst case in the same way with the space requirements. Okay, next topic is the array, but before that I want to speak something on this. So in this timing analysis, they are called the symptotic analysis, right? So asymptotic notation. So here suppose I want to tell you that do the summation of n numbers. If I tell you, you have to write a C program which do the summation of 10 numbers. So what you will do? So if I tell you to do the summation of n numbers, then you will take one loop. That loop will iterate for n number of times and it will add all numbers, right? So the complexity of that program is in terms of n. So what is the size of input depends on that. It is the called the order of n. So what is the complexity of the algorithm which adds the n numbers? It is order of n. Now if I tell you sort the in C language, have you done any program for sorting array? Hello?
No.
No. Array related programs have you done in C language?
Yes, sir.
So have you done any program on matrix?
Yes, sir. Addition and
matrix multiplication, right?
yes.
So when I say, let's say matrix multiplication. So for this matrix multiplication, what is the complexity? Suppose I say the n by n matrix, and you have to multiply this n by n matrix. So for that, what you would require? 2 nested loops, yes or no? So for matrix multiplication, one for loop will not suffice. So we will have to take two nested for loops. So for that, the complexity of this algorithm would be n square. What will the complexity of that algorithm? That would be order of n square. Why? There are nested loops. Okay. So in that way, looking at the algorithm, you will be able to say what is the time complexity of algorithm. So for some algorithms, the complexity also for some algorithms, complexity also be the order of n log n. So what are other different complexities? So order of n log n, right? N log n. Then other complexities are order of n factorial. Then other are order of n cube. Yet another complexity can be order of 2 raised to n. So these are the different complexities. Okay. Is it visible to everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the different complexity, right? This is for one algorithm, order of n. So now in the C language, whatever programs you have done, the most of the programs complexity was order of n or order of n square. These complexity programs you will face when you do the tree related programs, right? At that time, or some sorting algorithms having this different type of complexities. When we will be studying those sorting algorithms, at that time we will see that. Now yet another complexity is there, that is order of 1. Order of 1. So most of the C program you have done in your previous semester, having the complexity either order of 1, order of n, or order of n square. What is the order of 1 means? Algorithm take constant time irrespective of the input. That type of algorithm is called to be having the time complexity in the form of order of n, and these are called the asymptotic notations. These are called asymptotic notation. uh, this is there, and for by looking at any algorithm, you should be able to find out what is the complex timing complexity of that algorithm. So space for space requirement, no question will be asked in your exam also. The time complexity questions can be asked. So this is all about performance analysis and measurement. So this data management concepts we were looking at, right? And in that, these are the 4 different concepts we have seen one by one. And so that's all. Now next topic is the array. Okay. So array you already have studied in C language. Am I correct? Was array covered?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So arrays are one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional. You might have used one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays in your C programs, and multi-dimensional arrays are generally we don't use, but it depends on the application. We may need to use the multi-dimensional array also. Then here in the array is what? Array is a set of elements having the same data type. If it is the integer array, all the elements will be of type integer. If it is character array, all the elements will be of type character, and so on. And elements are stored sequentially. Okay. So elements will be stored sequentially. Then now it is interesting, very interesting to know how these elements are stored. So they are stored in the memory sequentially, and so if we know the memory location of the first element of the array, we can know the memory locations of the rest of the elements in the array. So let's take one example. If first element is at memory location B, say base address of the array, and each element is of W bytes, right? Every element occupies how much memory? W bytes. Then ith element would be at what location? You tell me. You have to consider that index starts at 1 for now, right? In the C, while we implement the arrays in C, index always start from 0, but here for this particular question, you consider that index starts at 1, right? And the first element memory location is B, and its size is W. W is the size occupied by every element in the memory. So where ith element, if I say the fifth element, what would be the address of the fifth element? So the equation which you give here, you have to tell me the equation. In chat, all of you think on this for a while, for 30 seconds or say 1 minute, and prepare an equation so that we can know what is the address of ith element. Are you getting my question? Hello? So in chat section,
Yes, sir.
yeah, in chat section, you please, you first of all think on this, write the equation, and in the chat section please tell me what will be the equation here. Okay. So yes, many students have answered B plus IW. Some have also answered B plus I minus W here. So okay, B plus I minus 1 W, B plus I minus 1 W, B plus W I minus 1. Okay. So okay, good. So many of you have answered. Some are saying B plus IW, some are saying B plus I minus 1W. Now let's see what is the answer. So here the first location is at B location, right? Sorry, this pen automatically increase the thickness of the. Okay. So first element is on locations B, right? So B. So plus 0 for the first element. Then for the second element, the location is B plus 1. For the third element, B plus 2, right? So here for first element we have B plus 0. Here this is the value of I. Sorry, this is not value of I, but we want, sorry, you let me remove this. Right. Say so value of I would write here, say i's value here is 1. Here is for the second element, the address of second element is B plus 1. For the third element, the address of third element is B plus 2. So now are you clear which answer is correct? Right. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So those who have given this answer b plus w into I minus 1, they are the correct. Clear everyone? Okay. So now let's move ahead. Now two-dimensional array. So for this two-dimensional array is also called the table and matrix, right? And this whenever you say table is always two-dimensional, row versus columns. And when you say matrix is also always two, row and column. And we have column measure versus row measure matrices or arrays or tables. So what does it mean? So column measure two-dimensional array or table or matrix means we access the array column wise, first column, then second column, then third column, and in the same we store also it the column wise. First column will be stored first, then second column, and so on. In the row measure order, we will store the row first, and first row, then second row, row wise we will store and access the two-dimensional array. So now here also they are here in two-dimensional array also elements are stored sequentially in the memory, and the same assignment which I gave you in the previous slide, here also let us consider m by n array, right? This m is the number of rows and n is the number of columns, right? So m by n array with the first element a11 is stored at the address b, base address, okay, and every element has a w bytes. So for the row measure order, what will be the address of aij element, and for the column measure array, what will be the address of a of ij? Here also consider that index starts at 1. So I think 40 minutes has already passed. So we will solve this assignment yesterday, but you come with answers. Is it okay? So yesterday you come with this answer. What these two answers you have to give, right? Are you clear with row measure and column measure? Will you be able to solve it? Okay. So tomorrow, tomorrow we have lecture at 1:30, I think so. Should I save it or no? It is okay, right? If there will be some okay, let me write it in the chat box so that you people can copy it if you want. Have you got notes? Can you copy it from there if you want? Those who are interested taking these notes can take it, and whether you are able to take it from here or not, I don't know. Yes, okay, thank you. So should I end this session? Any questions, any suggestions? Right, this is the first time I am also teaching online, and always, right, classroom teaching is classroom teaching, right? So it's okay, but I'm enjoying this online teaching also. Okay. So we have 68 participants. Let me take the attendance. Anyone wants to ask anything? No, right? So I am stopping sharing my screen. Okay, so tomorrow we have a lecture at tomorrow we have lecture at 1:30. So let's meet tomorrow at 1:30. Okay, have a nice day and goodbye. I'm ending the session now.
Okay.